Hey everyone, North Central here. Thanks for tuning in. So we're out here at the garden, and I wanted to do a quick little review of the garden that I got and let you see how things are progressing along. Back here in the cages, these are the Goliath tomatoes, and as you can see, they're doing really well because when I first planted them about 3 weeks or so ago, all I had was just about 4 or 5 inches sticking up out of the ground because I buried them really deep, if you remember. But I can see where there's some suckers going on now. So with these homemade tomato cages that I have, you can't get your hands back in there to do anything. So what I've come up with is just take a pair of pliers, and in this case I have Lyman's pliers, and all I'm going to do is cut out a square like so, just the center of it. And then I can bring my finger in here and just bend these tabs back out of the way. Like so. And this way, when you stick your hand in there, if you rub them up against the sides, you don't get poked or scratched. And then you can just reach in here, grab a hold of the sucker, and just pull it right off. But these are the Goliath tomatoes. I have 3 of them, and they're doing very, very well. And if you can see right here, it's just starting to put some flowers off. And of course here in front, this is my little garlic bed, and this has been growing. You know, I actually put these in last year in the middle of winter, and this spring they took right off, and they're just doing really, really good. So I'm going to do the rest of the Goliath tomatoes, desuckering them, and then we'll move over to the West Virginia 63s. Okay, so they're all done. If you look right down here, and I'll angle the camera down. Okay, so here I have some romaine lettuce that I planted about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, and they're coming up pretty nicely. I planted 2 seeds in each one, and whichever plant wasn't doing the best, I pulled out. So now I only have 1. Now, of course, here and here, these ones here never came up, so I replanted them about a week ago, and you can see the leaves here and here coming up. This has 2 plants coming, this one has 1, and again here, and of course this one's doing nice here. So these are actually planted about 2 weeks after I planted these, and that's actually by design. I'm going to keep planting about 2 weeks right on down the line. That way every few weeks I can come out here and harvest some of my romaine lettuce and have fresh lettuce pretty much throughout the summer. Alright, so these are the West Virginia 63s. And you can see they're doing just about as well as the Goliath tomatoes. Not quite as well. These are an heirloom, where the Goliaths are a hybrid. So same thing. I'll go ahead and cut a little hole in these so I can get my hands back to them. And then it's just a matter of sticking my hand back in here and picking off the suckers. Okay, so starting here at this marker, these are Detroit dark red beets, and I've tried these for several seasons now and just haven't been able to get them to go very good. I've got one row of them right down the center here, and you can see them where they've come up here. They go all the way to the end of the bed here, but hopefully they'll do really well, but we'll see. Like I said, I haven't done very well with these so far, but maybe this is the year. Now these are the red currant plants that I put on, and when I put them in, they were only about a foot high, so you can see how far they've grown, and they've started to flower. I didn't actually think I was going to get berries off these this year, because I was under the understanding that these were actually some type of a bush, but it looks like it's not going to be a bush. It's just going to be a yearly plant as far as I know right now. But we'll see. I really don't know anything about these. This is my first time growing them. I thought I'd just give it a try, so it's really just kind of a learning experience. But they do have flowers on them, and right here's actually some green little berries. So it looks like I'm going to get some red currants this year. Okay, so this is the Keystone Giant Bell Pepper. You can see I've put a stake here on this one. These are supposed to get fairly tall, I guess, and put off some great big bell peppers that are supposed to be really good for stuffing. So it's doing good. Again, when I got this, it wasn't much more than about 6 or 7 inches tall, so it's grown quite a bit. It's taken to the soil real well, and of course I've put a lot of compost in this bed as well as some organic fertilizer. So hopefully it'll take off and do real well. Its sister plant's right down there at that end, but one bell pepper plant's good enough for 2. Now right here beside it is where I have my pickling cucumbers, and you can see they're just now starting to come up. I see a couple more plants down there that's coming up, but this will be my pickling cucumber plant. So this is the potato planter, and I have Yukon Gold potatoes planted back in this again this year. Now last year I planted 5 pounds and I got about 50 pounds out of it, which is not exactly what Pinterest, where I got this idea from, said. They said you plant 5 pounds, you get almost 100. But I didn't exactly do it right either. I didn't continue building my slats up and covering that up with soil. So this year I'm doing that. So the soil's up to this flat here. I started off with just the first 3. There's a total of 5 out here now. So as they've grown up, I've kept adding slats and putting soil in. So as you can see, they're all up above this slat now. So I'm going to go ahead and add another one and go ahead and add more soil to it. And I'll take you along for that. Okay, so what I have here, 4 new boards right off a pallet, some screws, and a drill. And they're real easy to put on. Just follow the other boards pretty much. One screw each side. Enough to hold it. Now you'll see that the boards I use are a little bit longer than what I actually need, so all I'm going to do is come in here with my saw, cut these off. And these spare pieces can go on the fire that I'm going to have tonight. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to want to do is, of course, add dirt to this. I'm not really worried about covering leaves up so much because there's still leaves down at the bottom of it. All I don't want to do is cover up the top of a plant. But it looks like all these are actually up above the slats. So the dirt level is going to come right here to the top. And I have a bucket full of dirt and several more right over there behind me. That's what we're going to use. I want to make sure that I get it down around the stems really well. And just give it a slight little tamp. It doesn't have to be loose. It's going to pack down anyways and be below this lip, which is why I want it to be at least as high as this after I'm finished. The thing I got to say about these planters, they take a lot of dirt. While you got your hands back in here, try your best not to snap any of the stems or anything off, any of the leaves. They're actually pretty brittle. It's not hard to do. Now last year when I was filling these in, I kind of had an issue. When I planted the potatoes, I planted them everywhere. Okay, I had 5 pounds and I cut them up like I was going to plant them, you know, in rows down the ground or in a field. But this year I kept the potatoes whole and I just planted a few of them. There's only about 10 of them that made up 5 pounds. So I planted them whole, but as you can see, they grew up pretty much everywhere. I tried to keep them as much as I could around the outside because what I found was the center ones, they didn't get quite enough sunlight and they were drooping over, and it was a real fiasco me trying to get them to do anything, which is probably why I didn't actually get as many potatoes as I thought I should. I only had about 50 pounds. Now I've already gone around the outsides and filled it all up with dirt. About 6 inches to 8 inches in. So one thing I've got left to do is the center. And to do that, you just get your handfuls. And I just kind of bulldoze my way back in there and fill in the bowl that you've created. Again, I try and make sure that I get everything good around all the stems. And I want the soil level, okay, all the way around. I don't want it in a bowl shape or anything else. I want it completely level. So it takes quite a bit of soil. What this does, the potato plant is a lot like a tomato plant, okay? Any part of the stem that really touches the soil, it's going to sprout roots and eventually make a potato. So to get more potatoes off of one plant, you seemingly bury the stem as it grows. So that's the thought behind it, and that's what we're going for. People who take these plastic barrels and cut sides out of them and then plant potatoes in them and have the potatoes growing up the sides of the barrel on the outside, that's the one thing that they're really missing, is that they're not putting soil back up around the stem. Even the farmers, when they come in and take care of their fields with the potatoes, they mound the potatoes up, okay? And it's an all-year process. They keep mounding and they keep mounding and they keep mounding. And what they're actually doing is they're burying that stem further and further down into the ground to where you had the potatoes at the bottom where the roots are, with the soil on top, and then they're adding more soil and more soil and more soil, and eventually what it does is it sprouts more potatoes all the way up through that stem. Okay, so I've got the soil at the top of the slatted board, the new board that I put on, and in a week or two, when it grows up higher and everything's going to be up above the next one, I'll put another one, and then quite possibly another one, and grow these straight on up. Well, that's pretty much the tour of the garden. Hope you enjoyed it. I know I'm not growing a whole lot this year, but I've got plenty of tomatoes from last year. I do plan on putting in some green beans. I know I'm a little bit late on them, but I'm going to be planting those before too long, and everything else is coming up good. So until next time, this is North Central. Thanks for watching.